Skip Benton is happy to sponsor this deep dive. Skip is with Coldwell Bankers Select Real Estate covering Northern Nevada. For anyone out there who's been dreaming of buying a home but got totally discouraged by the recent market craziness, I've got some exciting news for you. Buckle up, because things might be taking a turn in your favor.
That's right. We're seeing data that suggests this could be the most buyer-friendly market we've seen in years, possibly even going back to pre-pandemic times.
Okay, let's unpack this. What's driving this shift?
The biggest factor is a surge in housing inventory. We're not just talking about a few more houses popping up here and there. This is the most significant inventory increase we've witnessed since 2019.
So what does that actually mean for someone who's ready to buy?
Well, think of it this way. When there are more homes available, buyers have more choices and, crucially, more leverage. Sellers can't dictate terms as easily as they could when inventory was scarce.
So we're not just seeing more houses, but we're also seeing those houses sit on the market a bit longer.
Exactly. Homes are lingering on the market for an average of 58 days. A far cry from the whirlwind of bidding wars we saw just a year or two ago. This gives you, the buyer, the time to breathe, think things through, and make informed decisions without feeling pressured.
One of the things that really jumped out at me from the research was the impact this is having on prices. We're not just seeing fewer bidding wars, but we're actually seeing price cuts, right?
Absolutely. The median home price has already dipped, and on top of that, sellers are increasingly willing to slash prices even further to attract buyers.
There's a story in one of our sources about a buyer who managed to snag a home for 10% less than the asking price. A&D got the seller to cover their closing costs. It really paints a picture of how much power is shifting to the buyer's side.
It's a great illustration of the potential benefits of this market shift. When you're not facing intense competition, you have the space to negotiate and potentially secure a deal that truly aligns with your budget and needs.
This feels like a world away from the frenzy of the past few years, where buyers were often forced to make rushed decisions and potentially overpay just to get their foot in the door.
It's a much-needed change of pace. This slower market allows buyers to be more strategic and deliberate in their approach, which is a healthier dynamic overall.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this might be the most buyer-friendly market in 5 years. But does that mean we're officially in a buyer's market?
It's not a clear-cut buyer's market just yet, but we're certainly edging closer to that territory. Remember, a true buyer's market is characterized by an oversupply of homes compared to the number of buyers. While we're seeing a significant increase in inventory, it's not quite at that level yet.
So it's more of a transition phase where things are becoming more balanced.
Precisely. And that balance is a welcome change from the extreme seller's market we've been navigating.
I think it's important to understand the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market, especially for those who might be new to the whole home buying process.
Absolutely. A seller's market, which is what we've been experiencing recently, puts sellers in the driver's seat. They call the shots, set the terms, and often receive multiple offers above their asking price. It can be a frustrating and competitive environment for buyers.
And in a buyer's market,
The script flips. Buyers have more leverage. Sellers are more open to negotiation, and the entire process feels less like a pressure cooker.
so while we might not be in a full-blown buyer's market, yet the current trends suggest we're moving in a direction that's much more favorable to buyers.
That's right. And this is a trend worth paying attention to if you're thinking about buying a home.
All right, I'm curious to hear more about what this means for buyers on a practical level. What specific strategies can they employ in this shifting market? We'll dive deeper into that after a quick word from our sponsor.
So you're thinking about diving into the housing market. Let's talk strategy.
Yes, let's get tactical. What are some smart moves buyers can make right now to capitalize on this shift?
First off, don't be afraid to negotiate. The days of blindly accepting asking prices are fading. With more inventory and less competition, you have room to breathe and make a reasonable offer.
That's a refreshing change, isn't it? I remember reading about buyers who felt pressured to waive inspections or make above-asking offers just to stay in the game.
Those days are becoming less common. Now's the time to stand your ground, do your due diligence, and negotiate for what you want. Think about contingencies, closing costs, and repairs. All these are back on the table.
Speaking of due diligence, it seems like buyers have more time to thoroughly evaluate properties now.
Absolutely. Take your time, don't rush the process, and consider all your options. Do your research on the neighborhood schools and amenities.
One of our sources mentioned a buyer who was previously burned out by the fast-paced market. They said they finally felt like they could breathe and carefully consider their options. It's a reminder that buying a home should be an exciting experience, not a stressful one.
Exactly. This slower pace allows you to visit properties multiple times, ask questions, and get a real feel for the space before making a commitment.
And it seems like buyers can be more selective now, too. Instead of settling for a property that doesn't quite meet their needs, they can hold out for something that truly aligns with their vision.
That's right. Don't compromise on your must-haves. Whether it's a spacious backyard, a home office, or a certain number of bedrooms, stick to your criteria and be patient. The right home will come along.
Patience is definitely key in any market, but it seems especially crucial in a shifting market like this.
Absolutely. And don't let fear or uncertainty paralyze you. The market is cyclical and things change. Arm yourself with knowledge, work with a trusted real estate professional, and be ready to adapt as needed.
And speaking of knowledge, let's dive a bit deeper into some of the underlying economic factors driving this inventory increase. Why are we seeing so many more homes coming on the market?
There are a few factors at play here. On one hand, we're seeing an uptick in new construction as builders respond to the growing demand. But it's not just about supply catching up with demand. We're also seeing a shift in investor behavior.
What do you mean?
While some investors who purchased properties during the peak of the market might be choosing to sell, now realizing their profits before a potential slowdown. This contributes to the increased inventory.
So it's a combination of factors, not just one single explanation.
Exactly. It's a complex interplay of supply, demand, and investor activity, all influenced by broader economic trends.
Now, while this shift toward a more buyer-friendly market is generally good news, are there any potential downsides or risks that buyers should be aware of?
That's a great question, and it's important to acknowledge that every market has its nuances. While the current environment offers more opportunities for buyers, it's crucial to approach it with a level head and realistic expectations.
What are some of the potential pitfalls buyers should watch out for?
One thing to consider is the risk of overpaying. Just because the market is shifting doesn't mean every property is a steal. Do your research, compare prices, and don't let the excitement of a buyer's market cloud your judgment.
So it's still crucial to be discerning and avoid getting swept up in the hype.
Absolutely. Another factor to keep in mind is that the market is constantly evolving. What seems like a buyer's market today could shift again in the future. Be prepared for fluctuations and understand that real estate is a long-term investment.
That's a great point. So while this current shift presents a fantastic opportunity for buyers, it's essential to approach it strategically. Do your homework and be prepared for the unexpected.
Couldn't agree more. Informed decision-making is key to success in any real estate market.
You know, it's fascinating to think about how this shift in the housing market might ripple out and affect other parts of the economy.
Yeah, it's a great point, and one that deserves further exploration. When a major market like real estate starts to shift, it often triggers a chain reaction.
Right, like if more people are buying homes, that could lead to increased demand for furniture, appliances, and other home-related goods and services.
Exactly, and that increased demand could then stimulate those industries, creating jobs and boosting economic activity.
It's like a domino effect,
Yeah.
with one change influencing another.
It also impacts the rental market. As more people transition from renting to owning, we could see a softening in rental prices, which could be beneficial for renters.
It's interesting to consider all these interconnected pieces and how they respond to changes in the housing market.
And that's what makes economics so fascinating. It's not just about numbers, it's about understanding human behavior and how those choices interact with broader market forces.
So for anyone listening who's been thinking about buying a home but maybe felt overwhelmed by the market's volatility in recent years, this might be a moment of opportunity.
Absolutely. This shift towards a more balanced market could be the opening you've been waiting for.
If you've been sitting on the sidelines, now might be the time to dust off those house hunting apps and start exploring your options.
Remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand the current market dynamics, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions.
And don't hesitate to reach out to a trusted real estate professional for guidance. They can provide valuable insights and help you navigate the process.
Speaking of trusted real estate professionals, we want to thank Skip Benton once again for sponsoring today's deep dive.
Skip is with Coldwell Banker Select Real Estate, covering Northern Nevada. And he's a fantastic resource for anyone looking to buy or sell a home in the area.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the evolving real estate landscape. We hope you found it informative and insightful.
And remember, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, staying informed is key to making smart decisions in any market.
We encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep those real estate dreams alive.
A huge thank you to Skip Benton for making this deep dive possible. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration of a topic that matters to you.